सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तपोभिक्षीणपापानां शान्तानां वीतरागिणां मुमुक्षूणामपेक्षोऽयं तत् आत्मबोधो विधीयते। पेज 22, श्लोक नंबर 6। संसारस्वप्नतुल्यो हि रागद्वेषादिसङ्कुलः स्वकाले सत्यवद्भाति प्रबोधे सत्यसद्भवेत्। संसारः स्वकाले सत्यवद्भाति प्रबोधे सति असद्भवेत्। Samsara, this that which is the creation, we see it as real, svakāle satyavadbhāti. Prabodhe sati, the moment we are awakened to the actuality or the reality or the truth, asat bhavet, it clearly starts appearing as unreal. It appears, but it is known as unreal. The last sentence that I said is very, very crucial. It appears, and yet the knowledge of it is that it is unreal. How? The example given, svapnatulyo hi, just like a dream. Yes, we say that the dreams are unreal. Have we ever experienced or seen somebody experience that from the dream they wake up all scared, anxious, sometimes even sweat beads because of that fear? Sometimes we feel that with such intensity that in the dream you are falling, but then you wake up to see that you have just fallen from your bed. The intensity seems to be real. But then you look around, come to senses, and then there is a sense of relief. What is the sense of relief? It was just a dream. Now, when we have the sigh of relief that it was just a dream, what do we mean? It appeared real. Though it appeared real, when we say it is just a dream, that means it cannot have any further impact moving forward. True? When we talk about samsara or this creation, we have to look into the entire schematics of it, very technically into it. Now, that which we call as creation can be perceived from two different standpoints. One as we see it, one as he sees it. He, the Ishvara, Srishti, Karta, the way he sees this Srishti. How does this happen from his standpoint, and how does it happen from our standpoint? In Vedanta Panchadashi, Swami Vidyaranyaji very beautifully portrays this concept as Ishvara Srishti and Jiva Srishti. There is a pattern in which that Ishvara, as soon as recognizing the potential within, as soon as that Ishvara recognizes the potential within, there is Ichha Shakti. Followed by that Ichha Shakti, there is Jnana Shakti. And then comes Kriya Shakti. What is the difference between Ishvara and Jiva? That sequential order is called Ishvara, and sequential disorder is called Jiva. We also have Ichha Shakti. As soon as there is Ichha Shakti, we jump into Kriya Shakti, and then after burning our hands, we get Jnana Shakti. Same three things, but in our case it is sequential disorder, in his case it is sequential order. So kamayata bahusyam praja yeyeti satapotapyata satapastaptva idagam sarvam asrujata. This comes in Taittiriya Upanishad. So kamayata, that Ishvara identifies with that thought that I can multiply and expand. As soon as he had that Ichha Shakti, then identified with that Ichha Shakti, that Parabrahma Paramatma, the moment identifies with this Ichha Shakti, becomes Brahma. That identifying aspect of Paramatma is called Chaturanana Brahma. Also we can call him as Ishvara. So what did Brahmaji do? Yes, satapotapyata. As soon as Brahma was born, he looked at his right, he looked at his left, he looked behind, he looked up. In all this looking process, he then realizes, I have 5 heads. When he came into being, he was called Panchanana. The processing speed was too fast. Later, he was reduced to Chaturana. Penta processor became quad processor. Then he dived deep into, all this comes in Bhagavatam. Then he dived deep into where he was sitting, which was the lotus, into the stalk. He comes out and then starts seeing again, not finding anything. He hears this sound. Earlier there was this pager. They used to come in 2 modules, numerical and alpha numerical. Alpha numerical was supposed to be sophisticated. Brahmaji heard 2 sounds, which translated to be tapa. Satapastapva, satapotapyata. As soon as he heard it, he started meditating upon, why am I expressing in this format? What is my purpose? After intense meditation, it was revealed to him to be responsible for the expansion. Then he again closed his eyes. Once the purpose was understood, he again closed his eyes and continued his tapas to understand how to go about it. Then, with that jnana, idagam sarvam asrujata, this became created. Ishvara expanded himself, being the material and being the efficient cause, abhinna nimitta upadana karana, an integral material and the efficient cause, the intelligence behind, he expanded into this multivarious aspect. So from his standpoint, his Shakti that was brought into picture was, first there was Vikshepa Shakti. Vikshepa Shakti, expansion. And with that Maya Shakti, when he expanded, then there was Avarana Shakti. 2 Shaktis. Kshepa, Kshipana, that root word, it means to throw, to grow, or to expand. In Bhagavad Gita also we see this word, that with the karma phala punya, we reach to the Swargaloka, and after having exhausted our punya layer, kshine punye martyalokam vishanti, kshipanti, we get thrown back into this world. Kshipa, kshepa means to expand, to throw, or to grow. As though it is thrown out of him, expanding, And the entire expansion is called Vikshepa, his Vikshepa Shakti. And then, how was this creation created? The material cause and the efficient cause being one and the same. See, when a potter makes a pot or a mother makes a roti, the potter is not the pot. The mother is not the roti. Here, the material cause is as well that Paramatma himself. Therefore, when we start with Vishnu Sahasranama, I know we all have memorized it. The first shloka, Vishvam Vishnurvashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. What does that entire Vishnu Sahasranama talk about? It talks about 1,000 names of Bhagavan Vishnu. If I ask any one of your names, you would tell me that which is your name. Your AKA, the otherwise also known as names, you will probably describe or inform upon inquiry. But otherwise, you will first start with your name. So, when Vishnu Sahasranama is started, what should be the first name? Vishnu. Isn't it? Technically, that is what it should have started. But then, Bhishmacharya, because Bhishma was the Acharya for this, Bhishmacharya does not start with Vishnu. He starts with Vishwam. Vishnu is a subtle concept. Vishwam is a world of experience already. That which we see as this creation is nothing but an expression and expansion of that Supreme alone. Where do I see Bhagavan? Where can you not see Bhagavan? See, when the Westerners look at our way of life, they criticize us because again their philosophy or theology puts it across that way that they are forced to look upon our Siddhanta in that particular framework. So I said, these are all paganistic, that they worship that which is the material of this world as God. It is blasphemous for them. Why is it blasphemous? That God has created this for their enjoyment, this creation, and He is up above the वर्ल्ड सो हाई लाइक अ डायमंड. बचपन में सीखे होंगे, उसका तात्पर्य ये है that he has created this but he has moved there. So all of this is not worthy of comparison to God, therefore not worthy of worship. Therefore whoever worships that which is not worthy of is considered a heathen. Therefore they are atrocious and atrociously doing a blasphemy. All the three Abrahamic religions, it is the same concept. Now looking at from that perspective, the criticism is that we worship trees, we worship animals, we worship rivers, we worship mountains. At least the earlier three had some movement in it. Mountains are jada, they are sthira. Swamiji, where do we worship mountains? Tiruvannamalai. Girivalam, right? Govardhana, done by Bhagavan Krishna himself, Kailasha Parvata. I can go on. It is not from a limited view that we as Hindus were scared of these elements, therefore we started worshipping. There was a subtlety, deep subtle thought that every expression in this creation is nothing but that Paramatma Swarupa alone. He is the Adhisthana, he is the substratum. This is from the perspective of that Ishvara, that there was first Vikshepa, then there was Avarana. Avarana, the seeming sense of separateness. So Vikshepa Shakti, Maya Shakti expresses out. And if you have studied Atmabodha, we see the sequence of that, how Maya Shakti evolves. That there is the Pancha Tanmatras. The Pancha Tanmatras go through a very elaborate process called Panchikarana, and after that Panchikarana, there is the grossification of this Panchamahabhuta, thereby tangibility of these five elements was possible. Up until then, it was only in the intangible Sukshma format. After Panchikarana, it becomes tangible. That Prithvi Tattva I can touch, Jala Tattva I can touch and taste. So the evolution is seen, experienceable. Tangible, experienceable. Now, the jiva, the individuality, is created. How does this individual see what is happening here? As I said, jiva is always sequential disorder. हम सब उल्टा देखते हैं. सीधा करना हो तो सर के बल खड़े होना पड़ेगा, शीर्षासन. What is the sequential disorder? In our case, the first thing that happens is avarana. Misapprehension, in Gurudev's words. Now, because of that misapprehension, there is a wrong identity that gets envelopingly powerful, and through that there is Vikshepa Shakti, and in that Vikshepa Shakti, based on that which Paramatma, that Ishvara has created as this creation, I superimpose my identity on it, creating my own Pratisrishti, as though a parallel universe. And then I create divisiveness in this creation. That which is mine. One aspect of creation, that which is mine. The second aspect of the creation is that which is not mine, no, yet to be mine. That is why we put the effort, right? अपना बनाने के लिए. We see that in trees, there is a defense mechanism to protect itself. When you walk out, you see these neem trees. There are on the branches, you see a abscess kind of a thing grown. Wherever you see that knot, that is the place where there must have been some kind of bacterial or some kind of infection that must have developed. In order to protect itself, it isolates that bhaga, knots it up, and then moves on to grow. You see that in animals. In fact, from the animals onwards, we start seeing demarcation also. ये इलाका अपुन का है. I will not go into the details how they demark. But there is a demarcation. And then comes to the human. We not only demark what is mine, but also constantly, incessantly put the effort to expand. Living in a rental, want to own an apartment. Living in an apartment owned by you, and that should give viveka, because maintenance is not easy. Now you want to own your own independent house. Once you have the independent house, it is all in this busy hustle bustle. I should have a vacation home or a farmhouse away from the city, away from this dusty outlook. By the time you retire, that farmhouse has become the inner ring road of the city. Still the expansion doesn't stop. That farmhouse is given to a builder. Now you build an extensive apartment again with a deal. You keep the rest. We will have 4 or 5 the penthouse. I can take several different kinds of examples, but you get the point. With the base of this Ishwariya Srishti, I only start claiming it to be mine. None of this which I claim as mine is ever mine. And after me, nobody cares what I have claimed as mine. Our memories are very short. Within our own family, how much do we remember? Do you all remember your parents' names? I know it is a ridiculous question, but please answer. Do you all remember your parents' names? क्या बोल रहे हो स्वामी जी? हाँ, गुस्सा मत कीजिए. Do you all remember your both sets of grandparents? Do you remember all the 8 sets of great grandparents? See our memory power. Wherein within the same family, we don't end up remembering our own ancestors. Maybe if you do Shraddha Karma regularly, maybe you will remember all 8. Because 3 generations have to be offered. Beyond that, we don't really care. Within our own family, 3 generations from now, we are a forgotten entity. If I as a concept itself is a forgotten entity within 3 generations, mine doesn't really matter. And yet, first there is in Jiva, what is the disorder? In our case, there is first there is Avarana, then there is Vikshepa, trying to expand. In Bhagavan's case, it is first the expansion and then there is individualization. Avarana. Saṃsāraḥ svakāle satyavadbhāti, appears as though real. That is a very key, crucial word in Vedanta to understand and assimilate. And wherever Adi Shankaracharya ji uses, he uses it with Iva Shabdataha, as though it is real. Swamiji, one crucial question. In all this sequence that which you said from up down and down up, if that is what it is, that is what it is, what is the problem? चलने दो ना. ये वेदांत को कितनी क्यों पड़ी हुई है कि this is all wrong, this is all, this is limitation. ठीक है, if that is what is created, that is what is there. Accept it, be content with it, move on. Why are you making a big deal out of it? राई का पहाड़ क्यों बना रहे हो? है तो है, सो ठीक. Adi Shankaracharya ji probably envisioned that people will have such questions. Therefore, he adds rāgadveṣādisaṅkulaḥ. Why does this samsara become a problem? It is endowed with raga and dvesha. Constantly. Raga, attachment. And dvesha. Dvesha, hatred. One, raga means attachment, dvesha means hatred. Hatred because I am not able to detach. So the whole life, as Gurudev used to say, we are having a marathon. Running for things that we like and running away from things that we don't like. And seems like the final joke is on us, because all that which we don't like is very much around us, and all that which seems to be liked by us is far away from us. So therefore, there is an intense effort to run away from that which we dislike. With passion, we want to run away from it. And we want to run for that which we have this sense of liking, attachment towards. Now, even if it were just running around, all that we would have been classified as having treadmill syndrome. What is treadmill syndrome? Running seems like running always, but reaching nowhere. That is called treadmill syndrome. Prayasa, only ayasa, there is nothing productive born out of it. Isn't that the treadmill syndrome? अब भागे जा रहे हो, कहीं पहुंचे हो, पता नहीं, कहीं पहुंचोगे, पता नहीं, कोई पहुंचा है, पता नहीं. The whole generation of us are in that flux. And as soon as our next generation comes, but by 2.5, 3 years old, they are into pre-kindergarten. तब से भगाओ. हम भाग रहे थे, we were running. How can you be left behind? हमें किसी पे बदला तो लेना है. We tune the next generation also in the same line. We want to make them smart, we want to make them efficient, we want to make them successful, we want to protect them from any failure. Are we guiding them towards that which is essential? See, there was a difference earlier when we talked about the Eastern way of life and the Western way of life. Now there is not much of a difference left, because this scheme of infusing this limitation into the next generation seems to continue. So this rāgadveṣa, it starts developing into irsha, asuya, jealousy. And when jealousy takes over, all kinds of animosity comes out. There is comparison. Comparison leads to unhealthy pattern of competition. Competition leads to serious conflicts and confusion. Lage raho. And you take the individual out of this race, bhagdaud. They come to ashram, they walk around tall trees. Though within the city it feels like you are away, cut out. क्या शांति है इधर, क्या सुकून है इधर. Is there an opportunity for people like us to come and stay here? By the third day, let's say, is there newspaper? Is there TV? When I had gone to Uttar Kashi for the first time about 30 plus years ago, you could see the rural kind of environment. There were few shops, there were ashrams on both sides of Gangaji. Today, there are 7 theatres. अब किसके लिए चाहिए था भाई थिएटर? Because earlier 85% to 90% were sadhus and sannyasis. Now that peace which they are enjoying, we also had to enjoy. So that farmhouse was far house, somewhere out there. Now when that population increased, their samsara also increased. Recently when I was there to Rishikesh, Uttar Kashi, Swiggy and Zomato also is very prevalent there. Swiggy and Zomato is like the new age development, which is a necessity. It has become a necessity there. Wherever we go, we spread, and we spread with our own pratisrushti, because we have to have our comfort. And that is where samsara becomes a source of pain. Because mind loves to, our own mind, loves to settle in a comfort zone. As soon as we get out of that comfort zone, even a little bit, it becomes unbearable. But let me promise you one thing. As long as our mind is infused with the intensity to find comfort zones, we are that far away. It is directly proportional to our dukkha. The word that it is denoting is a zone which has to give comfort, but that in turn becomes the source of misery. See, bed, sleeping on it is good. But when a patient is on that bed, immobile for a long period of time, what does that bed start giving to that patient? Comfort zone will give source. It is the source of all our source. Rāgadveṣādisaṅkulaḥ. Now, what is the process of reversal? Now, up until now, it is vidita jnana. It is not a imagination, but it is what we go through daily, and we are in sync with whatever has been discussed so far. As a process of reversal, all that we have to do. We don't have to tackle both the Maya Shaktis. What are the two Maya Shaktis? For our perspective, which is the first one? First is the Avarana Shakti, and the second one is Vikshepa Shakti. We do not have to deal with Vikshepa Shakti. Just deal with the Avarana Shakti. The reversal is done. Am I getting across? The capitalistic way of outlook is capture and modify the Vikshepa Shakti to find sukha. The Adhyatma way of looking at it is remove the Avarana Shakti, the impact of it, meaning that which is covering my true nature. Remove that layer and let the Vikshepa continue. Let the Vikshepa continue, knowing very well that its presence or absence does not impact. I am not craving for it or scared of it. When I say that its presence or absence does not impact, it doesn't mean that we become callous and careless. Kuch tadap raha hai, Vikshepa, how does it matter? No. You provide a soothing environment for them and care for them. But move on. It is that the impact should not be there, that there is neither a craving nor a hatred towards it, or a fear towards it. You all go to theaters or have been to theaters to watch movie. There is an intense scene. You are on the edge. There are people that buy ticket, pay for it, knowing very well that they will become emotional. They take packets of tissue paper, cry through the movie. Have you come across such people? समझ में नहीं आता. There is enough to cry for. But they will go buy a ticket and go through the crying process. There is enough horror in life. Don't believe me? Look at your horoscope. Enough horror in life. And yet, they go watch horror movies, pay for it, get horrified, get to the edge of the seat. Do you know why we go again and again and again? Only because we understand that it is only seen but not real. If it were real, we would avoid it like plague. Knowing that it is not real and still going through that experience is only for, what is that field called? Entertainment. I think it is missing a T. Entertainment. You get tainted there for a brief period. Why do we go? Because we realize, we know, we understand clearly that it is only unreal, it is temporary. For a brief period of time, I immerse into that environment, knowing very well that I know how to get out of it. This entire Vikshepa also is an entertainment. A beautiful one at that. See, most of the Yuva Kendra back in US, because the YUP course that I was conducting, they all make memes out of me. It is because I go crazy for beautiful sunsets and sunrise. Whenever they have to do a drama or a skit, one thing that is possibly constantly mocked at or made fun of is my lunacy for that sunset and sunrise. Right? You sit in that sunset and sunrise, what beauty. Mind just stops. Aprayatna purvaka. It just stops. You go to a glorious mountain view. I totally appreciate why Tapon Maharaj never wanted to come any time below Uttarkashi. Mind just becomes still. There's enough beauty around. But आप उनके पास टाइम ही नहीं है. We have the coffee on the go, on the run. बैठ के enjoy भी नहीं करते. It is just because it is a habitual error, so therefore in that morning that thing has to go in. Addiction. Everything that we do is an addiction. It has to go on that time. Otherwise, just the thought that I did not have coffee will create headache. Like there are people, if they don't have it on that particular time, they'll have serious issues. बैठ के कभी एंजॉय किए हो? You hold that warm cup in the hand, the aroma hitting your nostrils. Many times when I would go for my morning jog in Dallas, one of the rituals that I had was go through Starbucks. I did not stop there to drink. Just go through Starbucks. The aroma is so refreshing. Without cost. Pukat mein. Just go through inside. Come back. The aroma is so enriching. And as you put that little bit of intense hot cup to your lip and sip one sip, and that hot thing goes down your throat and into the stomach, and you feel that heat going down. And if it is a good filter coffee, not what do you call the other one? Instant. I don't know why people like it. It is an insult to coffee. Thank you. As that rich flavor hits your palate and you sip it down, and gentle breeze in your balcony, time is के पास ये सब. Whenever it is, drizzling or raining, I go stand outside. The first rain when it hits on a parched soil, and as the effervescence raises up, वो महक, वो खुशबू अलग ही है. When it is still sunny and then it starts drizzling, I look at the opposite side of where the sun is, because there should necessarily be a time. इसके पास है. Why? There is beauty. Vikshepa, when you are attached, which creates a dislike or a hatred or an attachment. Dislike and hatred is also born out of attachment only. Liking is also born out of attachment. When we are constantly struggling between this, the niceties and the beauty of it is wasted upon us. You as a parent, you as a mother, if you cook elaborate meals, elaborate lunches, elaborate breakfast, and your family does not have time to even sit and eat, what do? Angry is only the first step. When it is a routine that you cannot change, you stop cooking. I've seen that in many houses. Has this Vikshepa, because we do not appreciate sunrise, does the sun stop rising and putting his grandeur show every single day? And each day is uniquely different. Never disappointing. Does in the fall season leaves fall, and then in the spring season the leaves come out? Such tender beauty in it. Do they stop because we have stopped even noticing, let alone appreciate? So the vikshepa as such will not be a hindrance, because that who was attached to it to create a hatred or a like is dissolved. Vikshepa doesn't become a problem. What is the problem is only the avarana shakti. There is a beautiful sunrise, but your windows are not just closed, they are draped. Why is it dark here? Why is it dark always for me? Why is it dark always for me only? My life is so darkened, it is so depressing. अरे खोल ना, दिल के दरवाजे खोल, कौन रोक रहा है? Remove that avarana shakti. Little dedicated effort, a sincere effort with consistency maintained, it is a possibility to remove that avarana shakti. That main criteria wherein that avarana shakti can be removed is never focused upon. And you say, what is the problem with this samsara? Isn't that a problem enough? That which we are seeking, that which we are desperate about, is right here, and except here we are trying to train ourselves to put effort everywhere else. What kind of lunacy is this? If we really care for our children, our next generation, shouldn't this be the first thing taught to them? Am I getting across? See, we try to save the best for our children. Whether it is food, whether it is assets, whether it is will. We slog, but we save the best for them. Now my question is that really the best? That which will ascertain contentment, satisfaction, joy, happiness for eternity, shouldn't that be the focus? That is why samsara becomes a problem. Because the focus is elsewhere. Therefore, he says, saṃsāraḥ svapnatulyo hi. It appears very real when you are in it. When you step aside and see it, you see how unreal it is, that it only is an appearance. Creation can be entertained only when you see it as an appearance. Otherwise, we are lost in it, drowned in it. So, from top down, when it is vikshepa shakti and avarana shakti, when it is ichha shakti, jnana shakti, and then kriya shakti, there is no problem. Whenever it is ichha shakti, kriya shakti, and then jnana shakti, then we have a problem. All that we have to do is order the disorder. Then I say, that is what we are doing, Swamiji. With every effort, we are only ordering the disorder. Now, what I meant by order the disorder is put that disorder back into order. And this, no one else from outside, no one else or nothing else from the outside can help. It can be brought to our notice, but beyond that, who alone can help oneself? that commitment to focus only on that as a priority. Because the rest of the world and the actions, even if you want to stop, you cannot stop. Because the already shot arrow will take its course. Prarabdha is very powerful, you cannot stop it. So let that happen. You focus on this. How? That is given in the next sloka. We will see it tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyat Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om